Hello, today we're going to look at sampling methods. Last time we looked at what makes a sample biased, and today we're going to try to figure out how we make samples that are not biased. Now first off, if we want to look at this rectangle and think of that as our population, say if this is Irondale, we have about 1,700 students. We write that as a capital N, being about 1,700 students. Now, if I wanted to interview everybody and see what they think of my new shoes, uh, that would take me forever. It would be way too much time to get all 1,700. So I want to pick a sample. Let's say I want to pick 40 people. So what I do is I don't want to just pick a certain people who are hanging out in a certain hallway or who all have band. I want to pick 40 people so that they're representative of the whole population. Some people here, some people here, and so everybody weighs in, and so I get a good idea of how close we hope this closely matches what all people in the school feel about my shoes. Uh, Now we call this, or the best method is the simple random sample. This is what we try to do. The simple random sample of size n consists of n individuals from a population chosen in such a way that every set of those number of individuals has an equal chance of being the sample actually selected. So we want to create a method in which every person out of every group of 40 out of these 1,700 students are equally likely to be picked. We don't want to pick one group more than the other. To do this, we have to use these things called random digits. They're these long strings of numbers between or digits, I should say, from 0 to 9, uh, where uh, each entry is equally likely, and each entry is independent of each other. So knowing that this is a 7 doesn't change what the next number will be, or knowing that this is a 7 won't change what that number is going to be. Now sometimes they use these tables, but they're a little outdated, even though we still need to know them for the AP exam. Um, what we should also look at is the calculator, because random number generators are more common than the tables. I'm doing that too fast. Let's do that again. You hit math, go over to probability. If you go down to number 5, which is random integer, uh, if I just picked a span, say we wanted random integers between 1 and 44, and I just hit enter, that just gives me some integer between 1 and 44. And there's no connection between from one number to the next. It can repeat, it cannot repeat. We don't know. So if I want a string of numbers, I can call that up by hitting second enter, or you can go through the process, math, probability, random integer, 1 through 44. Now if I say I want 6 numbers, I hit comma 6, enter, and now it does a string. Now you can see that only 5 showed up on the string, on the page, so I have to push to the right to get the other values. Now, let's look at this. The process in choosing an SRS is the first thing we want to do is label it. So we want to assign a label to every individual in the population. Then you want to use a table or a calculator to select the values at random. And then you want to stop, and you have to indicate when you should stop sampling. So you say stop sampling after we hit 10 different numbers. And you have to say something about what happens if it repeats. So if number repeats, keep choosing more values. And now from that, you identify your sample, which are the subjects that you'll use. We'll go through an example here. We want to pick 10 random US states or territories. Now I've already done the first step for you. Number, we've already numbered them. Wonderful. Now, the second thing we want to do is we want to decide, do we use calculator or do we use a random number table? Now, the calculator is a fairly easy way to do it, but we also need to learn the table. So we will we will choose 10 numbers from a table. I'll show you the calculator way as well. And then we want to say, so we stop at 10 numbers. If any repeat, keep getting random numbers until there's 10 different numbers. Ten different or distinct numbers. And then we identify our sample. So what we're going to do, these are numbers 1 through 55. So our digits are 1 through 55. So all of these numbers are going to be 2-digit numbers. So I look at this table. It's a little tough to read. I'll read it out for you. But from this table, we can see we want to take these in 2 number chunks. 2 numbers, that's 80, 94, 25, 25, 82, 47, and so on. And we want to keep going until we have 10 distinct numbers. So if we go back here, we know those numbers are 1 through 55. So 60 is too high, 94 is too high, and you keep going. 25, that looks like a winner, but now we have another 25. So cross that out. We had 82, cross that out, but now we have 47. So we have 25, 47, and then 13. It looks like 47 pops up again. 74 is too high. We have a winner at 33, 36, 20, 18, 97, and cross out, 21. Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 34. And now once we get to the end of the row, we come back over here, 35. And so these are our numbers that we picked for our sample. So we take these numbers, and I'm going to copy them back here. And so we take all those numbers, and those are the values that are going to be in our sample. So 25. So you just go through 25, Minnesota. Way to go, Minnesota. Texas, Hawaii, New Mexico, North Dakota, Louisiana, Kansas. 21 is Maine. 34 and 35, New York and North Carolina. So those are the 10 randomly U.S. states and territories that we will use in our sample. Now we already talked about random. Oh, to do it on the calculator? So now we do the same thing we hit that we did before. Math, go over to probability, random integer, and there were 55 numbers, so we do 1 comma 55, comma, and we're going to pick 10. So the 10 numbers that we pick are 55, 39, 30, 36, 52. And then we will page to the right. And then there's 38, 44, 31, 19, and 13. So those are the ones that we will pick. Are there any repeats? I don't see any. So it looks like those are the 10 places that we will use. So assume that you wanted to make a sample that would represent the AP students at Irondale. Explain how we would make an SRS. Well, the first thing we would do is we would number all AP students from 1 to total number. So we just number them. And then 2, we want to use a table or a calculator. You can decide what you want to say, or you can say a random number generator. So we will use, let's say calculator to randomly choose, and they don't even tell us how much here. Let's say 50 students, or 50 numbers from our previous range. So that's between 1 and whatever that total number of students is. I don't know exactly how many AP students there are in Dale. And now we want to talk about the stopping rule. We will stop when there are 50 different numbers. And now once you have 50 different numbers, then you identify the sample. You choose the students that match the 50 numbers. And then you give them a survey or whatever you'll be doing. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully you can pick a random sample of 5 owners of the NFL teams. Good luck.